Hi everyone, I hope all of you guys are doing well. So I am actually coming online after a long time. I took a break, I was very busy with a lot of things, but of course I had to get back because I missed all of you guys and I'm sure you missed me as well. And today, I want to kind of take a step back. I tell you every time about various things of UPSC preparation. I tell you a little bit more about answer writing. I also tell you about how to learn different subjects. But today I am going to take a little bit of a different approach and I am going to take a step back and tell you overall how should you kind of plan your studies, how should you go about actually planning your studies overall whenever you want to learn something new, whenever you want to start something new, whenever there is something challenging topic in front of you. For example, you might be a history student and you might be learning economics for the first time. That might be hard to study, right? So when you are learning a new subject, when you are learning a new project or any new thing that you are coming across, how you can go ahead and learn about it so that you can excel at it. See, now the importance of this is not only UPSC, because obviously in UPSC preparation you will be studying new subjects. Engineers will be studying history, social sciences, economics. Economists, people who have studied economics in college, will be studying subjects such as science and technology or social sciences or history, polity, and people who have studied polity might be studying science and tech for the first time, right? So you have to understand, you have to learn how to excel, how to learn these subjects quickly and how to approach these new subjects so that you can become a good learner. See, it is at the end of the day, it is all about becoming a good learner. Even for me, I will tell you, in the government today as an officer, I face a lot of challenges on a daily basis. I will have problems about sanitation that come in front of me. I will have problems about some kind of a rural development project that come in front of me, water supply project, community forest rights, tribal rights. All these kind of different challenges come in front of me. So I have to be able to learn about these different areas, these different fields quickly, and I have to be able to then find the right teams to work on these projects. So same way, whether you are tomorrow in the future working as an IAS officer, IPS officer, whatever, right, you will be in an administrative role and you will face all these different kind of problems. So you have to be able to solve these different challenges, and for that you have to be a quick learner. Similarly, if you are working in the private sector also, at executive level, at high level, you will require that skill. So today I am going to teach you the skills that I have developed in order for you to make your UPSC preparation easy, in order for you to actually excel in new subjects, and at the same time I am also going to give you an example of how to do it. This is a mix of something that I have learned myself how to do and something I have also borrowed from Professor Feynman. You might know about him as a very famous professor. One of the students actually told me to go and look at Feynman technique. I studied it and I found it very similar to mine, except a few things that I feel you can mix and match and it can work greatly for you. Alright, so let's go ahead and now dive into what studying technique I am going to talk to you about today. So the first thing that you need to do is, whenever you are studying a new subject, you want to go ahead and develop a bird's eye view of that subject. So let's say you are starting economics and you have, for the first time you are starting to study economics, you have to learn economics, you don't know the concepts of economics at all. First of all, try to just understand the overview of what economics is all about, what the economics subject is all about, what are the various things you are going to cover in that subject. Alright, that is going to be very, very important, because without an overview, without the bird's eye view of that particular subject, particular field, it becomes, then we kind of get lost in the details. So before you go into the details, I want you to understand and learn the absolute overview of that particular subject, or develop a bird's eye view. So bird's eye view is what? Let's say a bird is flying on 10,000 feet above the earth level, then that bird can see probably up to 100 200 miles, 100 200 kilometers, the entire landscape. If there is water bodies, there is development, you can see from the top what the entire area looks like, and you can easily segment. When you are looking from above, let's say even if you look at a map of a city, or you go to Google Maps and you look at the satellite view of your city, you will be easily be able to tell in which direction what particular colony, what particular area lies, what particular development sector or whatever lies, right. So it is very easy to view something from the top, from the height, and understand it. Similarly, when you are studying subjects, any kind of subjects, any kind of new topics, like when you study maps, like when you study developments, you can go ahead and study these subjects from a top or a bird's eye view. And this bird's eye view is nothing but kind of figuring out what all different topics that are there in that particular subject. So, for example, economics, if you list down the various subjects in economics, topics in economics and subtopics in economics, it will be very limited to microeconomics, macroeconomics, and then further you can break it down. Microeconomics will have topics like supply and demand, right? It will have topics like what are the different type of goods. It will have these kind of topics, all right. On the other hand, in macroeconomics, you will have topics like interest rates, you will have topics like monetary policy, fiscal policy, you will have topics like how interest rates affect inflation, you will have inflation as a topic, you will have all these different topics. So, you first of all want to get an overview of all these different topics, and for that you use Google and you use your textbook. So, the way I used to use my textbook was, first of all, let us say I am studying Nitin Singhania's economics book, or I am studying NCERT book for economics, macroeconomics. So, I just look at the table of contents and each of the topic, then I try to fit into my reality of the things that are around me. So, always try to attach these bigger topics to things you have experienced in life, real life things. So, for example, let us say you come across inflation, how will you attach inflation as a topic in your real life? You will think about, okay, you know, let us say last year I used to buy a packet of Maggi for 10 rupees, it was let us say 50 grams. This year I am only getting 45 grams or 40 grams. So, Maggi is not changing the prices, it is keeping it as rupees 10, but it has reduced the quantity. So, isn't that you are paying more for less quantity, right? You are paying 10, last year you were paying 10 for 100 grams, 50 grams, and this you are paying for 40 grams 10 rupees. So, clearly you are paying more on a per gram basis. So, this is inflation, the increase of price, or simply put, you can even look at things like, let us say you go to the market to buy fruits. Last year same apple might have costed, you know, 150 rupees per kg, and this year it is costing 200 rupees per kg. So, that kind of whatever it is in your personal life, whatever you have bought and the price has increased, even the prices of maybe coaching institutes have increased, right. All these things are part of the price rise, which is inflation. So, you want to attach it to a real life so that you have a context, you have some sort of an understanding, because unless you attach it to a real life, you are not going to really understand it well. So, I used to attach or kind of draw a parallel in my life to all these topics I was studying, whether it was money supply, whether it was bonds, whether it was supply and demand. Like, I will give you an example. One of the topics in microeconomics, elasticity of demand, is very, very difficult to study, because it is not easily or intuitively going to be making sense to you when you study from the textbook. Textbook, they give you a very mathematical approach to it, but the way I would study it, I would actually go about trying to relate it to my real life. For example, if you see in many economics books, they give example of cigarettes as one of the most inelastic goods, because even though price of the cigarette rises, the people who is a smoker, the person who is a smoker, someone who is addicted to smoking, they are not going to reduce the amount of cigarettes they are going to consume or smoke, right. Similarly, alcohol, even if the price of the alcohol rises, if someone really loves to drink, they are going to consume the same amount of alcohol. So, that means that the elasticity or the flexibility of that particular good to the change in price on that quantity of that good is not very much, it is inelastic. So, like this you relate to it in your real life. Let us say you really love something, you know, you love cars and you have the money to buy cars, right, you have a decent amount of money. So, you would be ready to pay the price even if the price of the car increased a little bit or by a certain amount. So, that depends, obviously that elasticity will vary. Some goods will have very high elasticity, some will not. So, one of the other ways you can think about inelasticity or elasticity of demand is also from the example of UPSC fees that you pay to write the exam. Right now, let us say you are paying 200 rupees, right. Tomorrow, if the UPSC increases this price to 250 or 300, you will still pay that price because you have to write the exam. So, that will mean that the price of UPSC exam, taking the exam, the application is actually highly inelastic, right, even if it increases to quite a bit. But if it goes above, like if it obviously goes to 10,000 rupees, then a lot of people will not be able to afford it. So, that way you can test the elasticity of demand and you can learn it. So, try to attach it in your daily life, try to see the examples from your daily life, and that will make it much easier to learn. So, for any topic from the top, even from the bird's eye view, or from when you are looking at the topics individually, when you are looking at the subtopics and the concepts, try to get examples from your real life, and that will also help you remember it for a longer time. So the first thing was looking at things from the overall bird's eye view, dividing them into subtopics and topics, and also using relevant analogies or using real life examples to make sense of these things. The fourth thing I am going to tell you is that you should use Google extensively. Google is one of those things that you can use to waste your time also, and you can use it for good things also. I feel that YouTube and Google you can use to study very efficiently and very effectively. So what you can do is, you can, for example, you are not able to understand certain topic, you are not able to make any heads or tails of it, go ahead and look at the Khan Academy videos. I am talking about the Khan Academy, which is free from US. They have economics videos, macroeconomics, microeconomics, some science and tech, basic biology, all these basic subjects they teach on their website and on YouTube. So from there you can clear your concepts. So from there you can actually clear your concepts if you are not able to really figure out what those things are, or you are not getting clarity in other classes you are taking. The other thing you can do is look at any new topic you are studying, go ahead and look at the Google News, see if there is any news recently in the last 2-3 months, 4 months about that particular topic. You can find it on Google News, so that you can relate it to real life. Like for example, inflation, if you Google inflation, you will find so many news about inflation, because it is a topic in news every day. So you can find some news and see, make heads or tails of it. Don't read very technical news about such particular things, because that will only frustrate you and you will become very confused. Try to first read the basics and then go to the news. So you can also read the Wikipedia about it, just basic overview. So Wikipedia I am not saying is the best source, is the most accurate source to study anything, but it is a good source to get an overview of things. Alright, so you can go on Wikipedia and get an overview of things, and similarly you can go to news and get an overview and relate it in real life. So that way I used to study a lot of topics and get an idea. This is just to get an idea. Eventually you have to come to the textbook to be able to study what is coming in the exam. Alright, so Google and then this process you repeat. Then you go chapter wise, you start studying the topics, you start mixing these various resources that you have. And one of the things that I also want to tell you is that whenever you are rereading these particular topics or particular things, you don't have to reread from the same source. I feel like people say, you know, एक ही source से stick रहो, उससे ही revise करो, उससे मेरा मतलब, I feel that you should study from one source, which is a base anchor source, वहाँ से जहाँ से पढ़ते हो, and when you revise, you can revise from other sources also, so that if there is anything minutely new, you can get idea of that also. Because when you study something every time, same book you are reading, rereading, you will get bored of it eventually. So it is better to switch to another text or another thing, which is also recommended, to kind of revise and to get a better view, and you will understand things also better. So for example, when I was studying modern Indian history, I used the Bipin Chandra book to study that particular entire history of modern India and freedom struggle, right? But after that I switched to the Spectrum book, and I was revising from Spectrum. So what happened was, I was able to kind of, Spectrum is the notes version of Bipin Chandra basically, right? So I was able to get some more information also, which is there in the Spectrum, which is not there in Bipin Chandra, and I was able to easily consolidate what I had studied in Bipin Chandra into Spectrum, and it was really easy for me to then not get bored and not have the monotony, but be able to switch between the sources and to revise in a much more effective way. So that is how you can, overall, when you have a big new subject you are studying, that is how you can make it easier for yourself. Alright. So today I hope this particular video helped you. These are overall techniques. I have also posted a community post about this, so you can read that in detail and understand this. I have given the example of economics, and I will continue to, obviously now I am back from my leave, so I will continue to be with you and spend time with you and tell you about things. Hopefully you can learn with me. Alright. Take care, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I try to get back to you. Alright. Bye. Take care.